Yes, I'm still fighting with OBS. I'm gonna install that plugin. I don't like it. It do give me the option to stream on TikTok, and it works, but it breaks everything else. I don't think it's worth it. Because after I start a stream, I have to go back and change all the settings again. So what's the point? Record key typing hue. Why? Oh, advanced mode? No. Details. I'm so lost. Game. Oh, I found it. Gee, puts me in entertainment. No. Games. Hertz. Center of gravity. Okay. So yeah, your avatar is so cool. Love the pixelation. The pixelation. Wait, what do you mean the pixelation? I'm not pixelated, I'm 3D. What are you talking about? But yeah, I'm fighting with settings. Sorry about that. Should be soon. It should be good soon. You have a request for a reading. Oh. What about the reading? What reading? What are we talking about reading now? When Mirao left the main street and entered this narrow alley, the rain was already pouring down heavily, but he didn't rush. He'd always enjoyed walking in the rain. Me too. A new one. Ah. About what? The antique store he was looking for was already just ahead away. Wait, this is not a normal rain. This is a thunderstorm. One that involves you flying and a baseball bat. Wow. So you are what's the word? Boating? No boating. Well, kind of the boating, but that's not the word. For aggression. Is that what you want? You want to get aggressive? Baiting. That's not the word. No. Boat. Yeah, boat. But that's not the word. Also, I just noticed that the mouse is a compass. Look at this. It's a compass. There, after a couple of unhurried steps, he was there. There wasn't anyone in the alley so far. It was a very quiet place. But it's not the word that I'm looking for. Sounds like you say boat. No boat. Boat. What's the difference? What do you mean I am boating? The first thing he noticed was an opening. The door was the unbelievable weight of the door itself. Even though he was a strong man, opening the door had required almost all of his strength. He even thought the door was locked when he first tried to open it. That's how tight the door was. After he opened the door and entered inside the shop, he looked back towards the heavy door and that was slowly closing by itself. Wasn't the owner aware of this? I know why the door is closing. Why the door was so hard. Have you seen those doors that you have to put arm kinda looking thingy from the wall to the door that pushes it closed? Kinda like the emergency doors have that too. So it keeps the door closed. So when the guy tried to open the door, he couldn't because the door was being pushed closed from that arm thingy. Maybe he's entering from the emergency door. He was here as a result of a brief investigation he had done before. He was planning to write an article about aquariums for the newspaper he worked for. According to what the veterans of the business said in the shop, he could find the stories and information he wanted about antiques. Also, I feel the music is very loud. Is it loud? Is it very loud for you? I'm gonna lower the sound on my end because I already lowered in the game, but it's still very loud. The name of the store was Tower Antiques. At first, he was confused by his shop's remote location from the city center, because according to his knowledge, these types of places generally will be nearby to each other and create some kind of community in their own way. Which other places? What that has to do with being in the center of the city? This meant either the owner had no intention of selling anything, or he was trusting his merchandise so much that his customers will find him by themselves. Wherever his shop may be, he was trying to ask about this particular aspect of the interview. Wait, so was this before the internet? Because now you can just find where the store is and go there. It doesn't matter where. You just find it on the internet, you'll be, so this is where the antique shop is. Okay. And you just go there. Turning his head, he observed this dim and old environment. There's a cat on my screen so I cannot read. Can you move? Thank you. The interior of the shop was actually bigger than it looked from the outside. Oh. Isn't that a trope? It's bigger on the inside. He was already expecting this because when he looked inside from the window before entering, he saw a wide wall. There was another room ahead that was connected to the hall without a door. What? Okay, so what I get is that the story is deeper. So the facade is small, because the facade space is small. But actually, the block is very thick, so there is more. The store goes deeper. You can see it on the picture actually. See, there's another room here. But what do you mean without a door? Well, this is not a door, but how you call it? An arch? It's not an arch. Well, it is an arch, but it's square. But this one is arched. It's an arch. When he entered the shop, he noticed there were two dark corridors, which he couldn't see the ends on the other side of that room. Oh, these ones. Spectate your surroundings and little move towards the room in the back. Now, let's see what's here. The rain must be increasing in its force. The sound of heavy rain hitting the metal porch outside and thunder was waving a deep, ancient feeling into this silent atmosphere. I don't hear it. Of course, the fact that each one of these wares had actually historical value was also adding to this feeling of spaciousness. They were not just stuffs after all. It is a stuff. This meant that everything he looked at had its own particular history and meaning, whether it was useful or not in daily life, like just the actual people who, whether it was useful or not in daily life, just like the actual people who used them. All objects have a use. Now, that you know how to use it or you have a use for it is another thing. But even like a little statue, it has a use. Not for you maybe, but for some people, it makes the room look prettier. They can use it as a paperweight. They can use it as a book holder. They can put it in a fish tank, like decorate the fish tank. They can put it outside in the garden, decorate the garden, etc., etc. Now, you don't find the use for it, it's your problem. There was a strong wood scent inside, and most of the wares he saw around him were wooden. Even though the interior of the shop was well lit, since the light couldn't reach the corners, he had to go and see what those corners had in store. Then the room was not well lit. In general, the environment was dim. Then it was not well lit! He wasn't able to see the owner yet, so he decided to look around, taking advantage of this. What? He wasn't able to see the owner yet, so he decided to look around, taking advantage of this what? He leaned towards 3 medium-sized boxes, right next to him, and briefly examined the craftsmanship on them. Engravings on the boxes were magnificent. Even though they were obviously old, there was no sign of wear or any flaw on them. Nice. He tried to read the writings on one of the boxes by getting closer, but the writings were incredibly small. Oh, I see, it's like there's like little wiggles, squiggly lines around the box. He squinted his eyes as much as he could, but he couldn't understand what was written or in which language. Was his eyesight getting bad? Just ahead, even though it was smaller than normal, was an additional gas lamp hanging from the ceiling, but the design of this lamp was weirdly reversed, in a way that the opening of its glass bulb was downwards. What? Oh! Miguel tried to see the lamp from different angles by turning his head around, but he couldn't understand how it worked. How could a reverse lamp like this be used without pouring its fuel all over the place? Siphon! Is that a word? Siphon? If there is no way for air to get into the bottle, the liquid cannot come down. It's like that magic trick where they put a glass and then they put a card on the top of the glass, and the glass was liquid. And then they put a card on top of the glass, and then they flip it very quickly, and then they pull the card out, and the water don't come out. Similar to that, isn't it? If there is no way to get air into the glass, then how the liquid can come out? After a brief moment of thinking about burning up the lamp and testing this, he immediately gave up. Antique stores were famous for their impressive burning speeds. Also, it's not your store. Why are you moving the store? Why are you opening and poking around? Let the owner do it. He knows how it works. There was a white chest with blackened copper handles right under the gas lamp. It seemed like it was an old and rare piece, but it was looking rather ordinary considering the gas lamp above it. Contrast. He moved forward through the crowded wares towards the middle of the hall. At the center of this dense environment, there was a glass bell jar on top of a wooden table. Its details were intriguing. What? The weight of the bell jar was approximately 70. The height of the bell jar was approximately 70 centimeters, and there was a tower made of cards inside, which had 6 floors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see. Milad himself built a lot of towers by using cards before, and saw them being built too. But maybe because he was inside a bell jar, or because it's a special position inside the hall, he wanted to see it closer. On the wooden table which supported the glass bell jar, there was a metal plate. When he first saw the plate, he thought it was probably containing some information about the tower made of cars. Yeah, I would think so too. When he got closer, he saw that the metal plate was empty, except for some worn engraved letters. This had disappointed him a little. It's funny how... Yeah, imagine instead of this tower, the most ordinary item that you can think of is inside, like, I don't know, a fork. Just put a fork here, a spoon. But it has a bell jar. And you're like, ooh, why is that so special? Why is it being covered with glass? Why? Right? It piques your interest, like, why is going on there? Why is it so special? He was expecting to see some explanation related to the bizarre nature of this tower made of cars, or something like it had been built by a very famous person in who knows what year. But there weren't any of such things. The cars must have been glued together in order to make them withstand the effects of time. Really? Well, I guess humidity could bend them, and just because the cars bent a little, then the tower falls. Even though he couldn't see any remains of any glue, he wasn't able to think of any other way for them to endure this long. How he knows it's been long, though? What if they built it like an hour ago and then put a bell jar on top of it? After all, no one will have put a tower made of cars inside a bell jar, which can come down after a teeny tremor, without first making it solid. The playing cars which the tower was made of also were a kind Miral had seen before, so it's not so old, see? Their size and shapes were like ordinary playing cards, but the depictions on them were not. Ah, ya dejó de dormir, cállese. Hola Paca, ¿dónde te habías metido? ¿Cómo estás? Buenos días. Hoy toca gimnasio. Also, escribe loot. As far as you could see in this dim light, see? Dim light! So it's not well lit. There were very detailed tarot-like depictions on them. He thought this was a good idea, but artistically and commercially, of course, it would probably have no value if it were set of mass production. Hoy sí toca gimnasio. Está bien. ¿Cuándo vamos a jugar? Don't starve. ¿Qué día? No has dicho nada. Ya no dices nada, pajas. Maybe it could have been useful as a social experiment for seeing whether people were going to try to check it to top of the card's main side. Oh. The table at the right side of the room attract his attention when he entered the room after passing through the hall. Wow, that was a complicated sentence. When he looked closely, he realized that this was not a table, but a big wooden chest, which had a chipboard plaque on top of it. Ah! What? Yeah, it looks like a table, but it has this little handle here. There are chairs on the sides, and there's a lot of stuff on the back. On top of this patch table, there was a half a glass of tea. How do you know it's tea? It looked like wine to me. Also, there were stools on both sides, and the other side of the table. Ah, so there is another one over here. How do you do? Suddenly, he noticed that someone was coming towards him from the dark corridor on the left, which the room partly connected. This person was a young girl, who seemed like she had just turned 20. She had shoulder-length black hair with a slim and slender face. She was also short and thin. When she came up from the dimness of the dark corridor, Miral realized that the young girl was much younger, maybe barely 18. He replied at once. Hold on. You can barely see her. Ooh, there she is. Good day, my name is Miral. Are you the owner of this shop, or Admiral, do you run this place? What's the difference? Sure. Sure. Don't talk too much, or talk a little more. This one, good day, and this one is not. No good day for you. I'm just Miral. Yeah, let's go. I'm just Miral. No good day for you. Miral was a little ashamed of the tone of his voice, which sounded like saying, "A person this young shouldn't be running this place," but it seemed like she didn't get. What? I didn't get that. Yes, welcome back. Back? I thought it was the first time that we got here. Back? This was confusing, but he didn't give it a second thought. Since the interview, Miral was going to do what required a little experience and ability to talk about the old times. He expected someone much older. He never thought the other way. This could be a problem. What are we talking about now? 55. Ah, la llevas cortar, la vez pasada se quedó en 40. Because he wanted this interview to be decorated with the wisdom of the old and also dramatic experience, he decided to push his luck and chat. I have never seen someone as young as you in this line of work before. That's why I'm surprised. Don't get me wrong. Do not let my appearance fool you. I look young, but I'm actually not. Some kind of skin disease? Aha, disease, but it makes your skin look younger. What do you mean, skin disease? Miral couldn't stop himself from saying that was what was in his mind, while laughing with astonishment. How can I infect myself with it? Is contagious? Is it contagious? How can I infect myself if it is contagious? Ah, she has a little smile. But the woman was smiling slightly. Miral cleared his throat, realizing he might have overstepped his limits. So, this disease was making her look younger. He wondered what her real age could be. Asking it would be inappropriate though. Yeah, you never ask a lady her age. I'm very sorry. I'm preparing an article about antiques and antiquarians. Oh, that's what an antiquarian is. For the newspaper I'm working at. That's why I came to make an interview with you. Of course, if you are available and have a little time for it. Come in, we can do it. The woman pointed to the patchy table and stools that Miral just saw earlier, then glanced towards the corridor behind them and the shop's entrance before she herself sat down. But then she nodded to Miral, indicating that he could begin. Okay. While he was preparing his pen and notebook, he felt disturbed because the woman's momentarily proud. Because of the woman's momentary proud, but he glossed over this fact. Then he also pulled out his recording device and put it on the table by pushing its record button. What's your name? How long have you been running this place? Does this shop belong to you? I guess we start with the name. Firstly, what's your name? I do not use a name. Well, you don't have to use it, but other people can use it. They have to call you something. Surely you have a name on your ID? They had put some letters on the relevant section of my identity, but I do not use them. That's not my problem. From this reply, Miral understood that the woman didn't want to give her name. Insisting about it would be rude, so he didn't do that. How long have you been running this place? How long have you been running this shop? I am the one who has run it since 1946. Muriel predicted that the skin disease, which was the reason for her young look, could cause a difference of 10 to 20 years at most. But if she had been running this place since 1946, the woman must have been at least 80 years old. 80. So she should start like at 20. 80. And of course, that is the case if she was running the place since she was 18. Yeah, it means she must be incredibly old. But after the inconvenient jokes he made earlier, he wasn't planning to add to his rudeness by asking her real age too. At this point, it shouldn't matter anymore. To get rid of his confusion, Muriel noted down that what he heard and counted without further ado. Does this shop belong to you? Did you start this profession from nothing, or does it run in the family? Of course, this is just a belief among the people in our profession. Indubitably, there is some individual who opened that particular shop first, but they are not even remembered after 1 or 2 generations. I'm having trouble to make sense of that sentence. Of course, this is just a belief among the people in our profession. There's some individual who opened that particular shop first. They are not even remembered after 1 or 2 generations. Kinda like you, she inherited the shop. She didn't actually just... like she just came to be the owner. I'm so confused by that phrase. So she didn't make the store. She kinda like inherited. But she never actually was told like, yeah, this is your shop now. Okay, how old is this shop then? So, is this shop yours? Did you open it? Or was it passed on to you? It is more than half century since I began to run this shop. Half a century. The woman's voice was also a young girl's voice, like her appearance. Muriel wondered whether this so-called skin disease also affected her voice, but he decided not to inquire about that too. Old people can have young voices too. Have you watched the vegan teacher? She has a very high-pitched, girl-sounding voice. Still, hearing such deep and meaningful words from the voice of a young woman affected Muriel deeply. Do you know the previous owners of the shop? Or how far back do you know or remember anything about its owner? The woman stared into the emptiness for a while, thinking and squinting her eyes. Then she replied with a monotonous voice. 3 generations. The shop was my daughter's before me. What? Shop was my daughter's before me, and her granddaughters before her. So it's backwards? It's backwards, isn't it? Miguel stopped his reading because of what he heard, raised his head from the notebook and smiled. Her daughter's granddaughter? The woman replied, smiling understandingly. Yes, that is correct. Miguel paused for a moment, smiled, thinking about the weirdness of this misunderstanding, and continued. Alright, there are a lot of stuff here. Oh, I see emotes going up, but I don't know what they mean. Thank you. How do I know who made those emotes? I need to watch a tutorial about how this works. But thank you. Alright, there are a lot of stuffs here. I'm sure there are at least that many stories, because every one of these stuffs is old, and each one of them belonged to someone once. At this very moment, even while I'm smelling this dusty wood odor, I feel like I could touch those stories. Yeah, that's what I like about antiques in general. Like having something very old in your hands. It's kinda like a connection to the past kind of thing, except that you cannot see it, but you can see it on the object. I had some headphones. I think it's from World War II. And they were the headphones that people in communications, soldiers, use them. They are very uncomfortable. I'm trying to remember how they look like, because I don't have them at hand, but it was just the little wire on top of your head, and then I don't know if it has both of them on the sides, and it's just a little half circle. Kinda think of like when you're gonna make cookies, and you have a cookie dough bowl. Imagine that you just press them with your hands, and you have like a half circle, rounded circle kind of thing. Yeah, kinda like that. Very small, barely the size of your ears. It sits on top of your ears, so you press your ears down. And if I remember correctly, it was covered on leather. But the leather is very old. The leather that it had is very old. It's very crunchy. I don't know if it's fake leather, but it looked like the leather. And it was very hard. And the wire is very thin. Very, very thin. And then it's not braid. It's not braid because it's only two wires, right? One for one ear, one for the other. But it's kind of like making the circles around each other. Yeah, that's what I remember about them. I don't have them at hand, but that's what I remember about them. But yeah, looking at them, have them in your hands, put them on, all that stuff. I kinda think, wow, and this was the top of the line technology back then. The people that were working in communications during the war, they used these headphones and sit in front of their computers or whatever they had and think, wow, I have the most modern equipment in the world. Right now, it's probably not even toys are made like that. But yeah, it's a weird feeling to have an old object in your hands. Who knows what things this stuff have witnessed? Do you feel like that too? The woman finished her cold tea from the glass on the table with a hurry, and after that replied with a disturbingly monotonous voice. I'm just selling these stuffs to earn some money. Not for the first time since he entered this shop, Miral thought that he probably wouldn't be able to conduct a fruitful interview in this shop. She was old according to her own statement, but she wasn't carrying the how do you say this word? Tactiveness of all people when they talk about their family business. Either he was going to keep this conversation short and try other antique shops, or somehow he was going to force her into a more fruitful conversation. Of course, that is necessary too, in the end. It's your livelihood. Let's do it like this. Let's talk about the details of the things here. For example, that chest with black and copper handles behind me. It doesn't look like a piece that you can easily find. Can you talk about it a little, please? The woman glanced calmly at the chest that was to Mirel's left rear, according to her position. Wow, so detailed. Its owner brought that chest here 113 years ago. 113 years, wow. Sorry. How many years ago, ma'am? It was 42 years ago. What? So I remember, since it was much heavier than it looked. 4 men were barely able to manage to pull it where it is now. Its owner left in a hurry. It must be filled with something heavy, but I am not able to know that because it's locked. Its owner did not leave a key, and I was not able to find a way to open it without damaging it, since it's very old. What a way to get rid of a corpse! Wow! Deep Chidot! Hi, Deep Chidot, how you doing? Good afternoon? No, what afternoon? Morning. Maybe a locksmith could have been able to open it? The woman showed any signs that she understood the sarcasm, and she shook her head approvingly. That's what I thought, but none of the 5 locksmiths I called were able to open it. There can be something valuable inside, since it's that heavy. Didn't you ever think about its contents and try to open it by other means, like breaking its lock? But she just said she don't want to break it. Could you give me the mucho texto fact of the day? Oh, it's indeed trying to play peekaboo in the chat. You know what, Gustavo? Creo que tengo dos versiones diferentes de preguntarle a Whispering. No, le está hablando a Deep Shidot. A lo mejor es demasiado texto que no cabe en el parágrafo de Twitch y nada más manda lo que tenía antes. No, ya estaba retiro. ¿Y Kazuhiro? Hola Kazuhiro, ¿cómo estás? Buenos días, es el día para ti. Oh, wait. Porque te hablo español. Why speak Spanish to you? Y Kazuhiro, how are you today? Good morning. Is it morning for you? Sí, es porque le pediste que hable mucho y no cabe en el parágrafo de Twitch y nomás mandó lo que tenía antes. Doing so will be disrespectful to the profession and to that very object. I have learned many years ago to respect objects as they are. Oh, yeah, what a way to get rid of a body. Imagínate el tratamiento que debe de ser lo que iba a mandar. Si necesito arreglar eso, voy a poner lo mismo que le puse con el de loot para que corte el mensaje en 500 caracteres de eso, lo que sea. Sí, hablo español, señorita, and yes, it is morning over here in America. Es cierto, tú hablas español también. Creo que así me dijiste. I forgot. Mirado looked around and, while he was trying to find something he could ask about, he suddenly remembered the tower of cards inside the bell jar, which he saw at the entrance hall. I want to know about the upside down light thingy. For instance, please tell me about the tower of cards inside the bell jar back in the middle of the entrance hall. I have never seen anything like that. What do you mean? It's an interesting thing. What's the story? How did it come into your possession? What do you mean? The upside down gas lamp was more interesting. The glass bell jar that houses the tower of cards was 5 meters behind Miral's current position. Wow! They count the meters. Now the woman's gaze was passing over Miral's and focused on that object. Miral deduced that the reason for that slow answer was the woman's old age and decided not to insist. He waited patiently until the answer came. Oh! I see Dipshidon! Dipshidon, can you explain to me how... I saw emotes flying earlier and I don't know what they mean. I don't understand those English things, but thank you for the hearts. That tower made of... Try making voices. Let's see. Let's try making... What time is it? Oh, I have to go soon though. What voice you will have? What's haunting your mind today? That's a good question. She has a very monotonous voice, right? That's what it looks like. That tower made of playing cards has not come into possession. No, I put too much feeling. That tower of playing cards has not come into my possession. Actually, in a way, it has taken me into its possession. But noticing that he might finally have called a good story worth publishing, Miral kept waiting silently. He was not eager to interrupt the woman's narration. Wait, you're seeing emojis floating around? Yes, I see emojis floating around. Then you have to get your eyes checked. Are they in the room with you right now? The emotes, they're gonna eat me. Firstly, those are not playing cards. They also look like tarot cards, but they are not that either. I know so, because I brought some people who know those kind of things, and asked them to examine the cards. Also, some who tried to pierce the unknown by using tarot cards, and were successful at And also some who tried to pierce the unknown by using tarot cards and were successful at that, came by themselves. These cards are from an unknown culture that exists long before the thing called tarot even existed. Let me warn you before we continue, Miral. The things I am going to tell you might not seem reasonable to you. I don't know how to make the voice for Miral. I'm here to listen to you. That's my job. The woman got up from the stool she was sitting on. Wait, I thought she moved to the cards. The cards were behind her in the picture. With a smile on her face, and took one of the gas lamps on the table. While she was moving towards the dark corridor from which she came at the beginning of the conversation, she signaled Miral to follow her. If it's on YouTube, you actually have a little button on the side that lets you send hearts, smiles, and forget what other emojis. I think you can do the same on TikTok when doing a live stream. I see this thing. I see this other thing. I don't know. Send? Doesn't send. Oh no, everybody, I did shit up. Quick. Leave the shop? Why would you leave the shop? Mira suddenly felt very uneasy about the situation he was in. This interview was not going anywhere, and this shop was not pleasant at all. The woman's voice tone, the way she talked, this environment, something had disturbed him. Or everything. I'm sorry, I think this much is enough. While the sound of the woman's footsteps echoed from the dark corridor, her voice echoed from that direction. But if you decide to stay and keep listening, you might be able to witness one of the most interesting stories of all time, even be part of it. Why are we given the option to leave the shop? Miro wanted to leave this disturbing place at once. After these short sentences, which might be considered an apology, he took his recording device on the table and moved towards the main hall. People who are watching can do it. Not sure if the host can do it. The game is haunting your VTuber. No, my VTuber breaks every time I look to my keyboard. My keyboard is behind me. So if I move too much to the right, the tracker loses tracking and it breaks my VTuber. This was indeed a strange place. When he looked back as he was entering the hall, he saw the woman disappear into the dark corridor. The moment he reached the middle of the hall, he paused with uncertainty. He wasn't able to push down the powerful sense of wonder inside him. He kept looking at the interesting objects around him for a while. There were a lot of interesting things he could take a quick look at to ease his sense of wonder. Unopenable chest, reverse gas lamp. Yeah, this one, why you didn't ask about the reverse gas lamp? Boxes with impossible details. Tower made of playing cards inside a bell jar. At that moment, in the middle of the chaos of his own thoughts, he tried to decide whether it would be right to do what he was thinking of doing or not. He was a reporter, and his job was to chase stories. Of course, in this line of work, the stories weren't just landing in his lap. He needed to chase them, take risks for them, and sometimes face some dangers for them. Not for the first time, he wished to be a story or a game writer who could make up stories from his head. Oh, that would be so easy. I do know that sometimes having anything reflective in the room can also cause that issue. Yeah, like if you wear glasses, the apps are getting very good at reading eyes through the glasses, but if the light bounces into the camera, yeah, it breaks your VTuber. But he was a reporter. He needed to search and find the stories, and sometimes force them to emerge. Exit the shop, examine the objects. What options are these? Why do I want to examine the objects again? Didn't we watch them already? He wasn't sure how long the woman was going to stay in the room inside, so he needed to hurry to the side. Open the unopenable chest, light up the reverse lamp, examine the tower of cards, give up and light the reverse lamp. When Miran approached the gas lamp again and examined it, he saw that it had some fuel in it. He wasn't sure whether he should be happy about this or not, because he knew himself that he was going to light it up. The next moment he did so and lit it up with a lighter he took out of his pocket. When he reached into the inside of the reverse gas holder and lit the gas lamp, the first thing he noticed was the gas lamp's smell. At the same time, cinnamon and mandarin scents covered the area around him. It was weird that he liked the sense of these two opposing things. Like net? You mean liked? Like net? But the weird thing was the color of the smell adjustment chamber underneath. The gas chamber on top, which held the fuel, was now starting to change color. Oh. While he was watching, his metal part started to widen and open. Miral suddenly leaped a couple of steps back, thinking that the lamp wouldn't withstand the heat and would break, spitting oil and fire around. But what happened after that wasn't what he was expecting at all. These sentences are so hard to read. After widening and separating from the lamp's trunk like a lid, the metal chamber revealed a secret hatch. After a couple of seconds, the lamp went out by itself. Heaven knows how. This was odd, but Miral didn't have much time, so he quickly got close and looked inside this hatch. It was holding a key made of blackened copper. Used in the cover. The key, which was solid and metallic when he first took it in his hand, was now starting to get soft and bend in his hand. Miral looked at the warping key with incredible stares. Try it on the chest. Miral couldn't believe the fact that he was rummaging through other people's things in a place that didn't belong to him. He had done things before that were questionable legally, or changing stories, but he had never gone this far. Still, he thought that this was no place or time to judge himself for his acts. 62. Or was it just the place and time? Without thinking about it any further, he put the key into the keyhole and turned the key. The huge chest was completely empty. So it meant the woman's story about its weight wasn't true at all. Or was that one was true and the chest was once full indeed? But this time it meant the woman lied to him about its unopenable nature. Just as Miral was about to close the chest, he saw a palm-sized tiny box at the bottom of the chest when he focused. Without thinking, he picked it up and opened it. There was a ring inside the tiny box. Miral wasn't a jeweler, but he had seen enough rings to understand that this ring's craftsmanship was magnificent. Unlike any other ring, this ring's trunk was made of transparent greenish crystal, and its top was made of a gold piece. Take the ring. The options are take the ring and leave. No, put the ring back and leave. Leave or take the ring. Take the ring. Miral simply took the ring without even thinking. Should he be doing this? Was this right? What could be the outcomes of doing this? I don't know, we're just doing stuff. All of these questions must have been asked in other places by other people, because there were no such questions in Miral's mind at this moment. He took the ring, closed the chest, and left the antique store in haste. When Miral got to the alley, he looked at the grayness of the sky, not caring about the raindrops hitting his face in the quiet alley, and he decided to put the ring on his finger. Oh, put the ring on your left hand or the right hand? Left hand. When Miral put the ring on his left hand's ring finger, the first thing he forgot was his name. Oh! This was unbelievable. The shock arising from the fact that he just forgot the name he had been using all those years caused a sudden panic. What? To relieve his racing heart, he collapsed on the wet sidewalk under the rain. The second thing he forgot was where he was. While his panic increased, he started to look around helplessly in this alley, which was now unknown to him. Where was this alley? this city, this country. The third thing he forgot was the time. In horror, he tried to remember today's date and hour at the moment, but these words no longer meant anything to him. Was it day or night? Obviously, night? I don't know. What is a day or a night anyway? The last thing Mira forgot was what he was. I saw the emotes flying around again. What was that? Thank you. Thank you. I don't know how to read this. What was he? Only scents, flavors, and impulses. Scent. Charming scent of the rainwater on the ground mixed with the soil and stones. He only needed to eat and drink. There was only one thing he was aware of. Taste of rain. What is it? Oh, wait, is all the different endings? How many endings are those? Wait, look at this. No, wrong layer. This layer. Look at all the endings. If each box is an ending. Oh, we have to keep playing this. New stuff. Yes. Hi, game. Okay, I'm just gonna skip. No, skip. We're gonna go all the way back to what we tried this. The first thing he noticed was the high amount of wear inside. The hall which he was in at the moment was very wide and had a very high ceiling. All wares were covering all corners, and they were all placed one on top of another. Big and wide wooden wardrobes were at the bottom, then small tables and portable showcases were on top of them. Every tiny square of the shop had been cleverly used to store and exhibit items at the same time. It was nearly impossible to see the walls, and the visible parts of the walls were all covered with gas lamps, paintings, old bird cages, tiny chairs, and stools. Despite this, the wares were stored in very orderly, and this shop was full of wares. Was looking very tidy. The environment wasn't restricting people at all, and all the wares were in positions that were easy to see. He squirmed to himself in this dim hall, realizing his own bedroom looked much more chaotic than here, even though it had 1,000 times less stuff in it. Yeah! Having less stuff doesn't mean cleanliness, it just means less stuff. You can have a very stuffy room and be clean. Why not? He wondered if it would be okay to look at some of these wares more closely. No, he moved. The table at the right side of the room attracted his attention in the room, but yeah, we read this. Double yes. How do you do? Yes. Good day. My name is Mira. Are you the owner of this shop? Mira was a little ashamed of the tone of his voice, which sounded like saying a person did. It doesn't matter what we choose. Yes, welcome back. This was confusing, but he didn't give a second thought. Now we know why. We just restarted the game. Okay. I have seen more. Well, read all of this. What's your name? Does this shop belong to you? What happens if we start the questions backwards? Does this shop belong to you? Did you start this profession from nothing, or does it run in the family? Yeah, no, we already did this. Do you know the previous owners of the shop, or how far back do you know or remember anything? Yes. About the daughter's granddaughter. Let's talk. I'm sure there are at least that many stories. This moment, the woman finished her cold tea from the glass. Yes. I'm just selling this stuff to earn some money. Yeah. Of course, in the end, this is your livelihood. Yeah, the gopher, blah blah blah. It was heavy. The Tower of Cards. Okay, this is the part where we air quotes mess up, and we really mess up. The game asked us if we wanted to leave, and I said, sure, let's leave. But what happens if we don't leave? I mean, no, we did light. What was the other thing that we could do? We light the lamp and we open the chest. Ah, the cards! Let's play with the cards. Use the chop. Use the chop. Oh, we got something else that I did. We tried to read the original. No, we already got these. Why is he looking at the boxes? This head, even though it was smaller than normal, was just a gas lamp. Oh, we're looking at the objects now. What? This is the same text that we got earlier, when we were looking at the objects. Ah, so we are looking at the objects because we didn't look at them earlier. Okay, this is the same text. Examine the objects. The Tower of Cards. He moved toward the bell jar, which held a tower made of playing cards at the middle of the hall. The woman still wasn't around. Miral had his hands to both sides of the bell jar and tried to pull it up to see the tower made of playing cards more closely, but he couldn't do it. The bell jar seemed to be glued strongly to its place. The wooden jar the wooden table under it moved slightly for a moment, but he heard cracking sounds from the surface it was on. Clearly, the wooden table was also attached to the floor. But if he forced it too much, he was going to remove the hardwoods underneath it, so he didn't force it any further. Why did he try such a thing anyway? For a moment he thought he heard something from the back of the shop. It was time to leave. After leaving Tower Antiques in a hurry, he realized that he had been inside for a couple hours. The sun had set, and it was still raining. It took half an hour on foot for him to reach the busier neighborhoods of the city from the alley where the shop was. Walking had felt good. His panic had diminished a little, and his heartbeats were now slower. His rapid steps suddenly stopped while he was passing in front of a cafe when he saw the TV inside. The thing under the news flash banner on the TV made Miral freeze. Approximately half an hour ago, all at the same time in Canada, Argentina, New Zealand, Korea, Ireland, Azerbaijan, and South Africa, there have been stories of earthquakes occur with magnitude of 9 according to the Richter scale. How do you say it? The next second, Miral found himself lying on the ground. Was he feeling dizzy, or was the ground shaking? No, the war wasn't stopping. Ooh, we got another ending. Here. We have to end this now. Oh, this is fun. So, because she moved the table, and there were cracks on the table, it made earthquakes. Oh, that's cool. Well, that is it. I kinda want to keep streaming this time of collab, but actually I'm hungry. I need to go AFK and get something to eat. I'm definitely coming back to this game. So we can find more. Let's go one more round. This time we're gonna follow the lady. One more round. Last one. Final answer. Just let me check my ads. Snooze them. Snooze ads. Snooze ads. Okay. So, one last round. This time we're gonna follow the lady, and after that, whatever happens, I will end the stream. There's no skip though. Skip. So let's look at the object. So he has that information. Okay, and then it doesn't matter what we choose here. And we can skip these two. The what is your name and how long have you been running this place? She's not gonna give new information. Well, let's see. No, it doesn't matter. She just say, I'm not gonna give you my name, so whatever. I don't use name. And the other one, how long have you been running this place? And she just say, no. Maybe this one helps. Give him some information about 1945 or something. And then this is about the granddaughter's daughter. And then it's like, okay, you're not gonna talk. Okay, let's talk about this thing. It was 42 years ago. It was very heavy. But she didn't want to open it, and then the conversation was awkward, and then she's subject to the cards, and then she's like, the things I'm going to tell you might not seem reasonable to you. I'm here to listen, that's my job. And the woman got up from the stool she was sitting on, with a smile on her face, and took, one of the gas lamps on the table. Sorry, I was going to fix this. There you go. When she was moving towards the dark corridor from which she came at the beginning of their conversation, she signaled Muriel to follow her. Yeah, follow her. Muriel decided to hear the woman's out. Grabbing his voice recording device with one hand, he took the second gas lamp on the table and followed her. I didn't see any gas lamps here though. He was hoping that he could hear something that could make his trip worthwhile. While following the woman in the dark corridor, Muriel tried to see his surroundings by holding the gas lamp high. 5 open doors could be seen through the barely lit corridor. This looks very dark though. He tried to see corridor. He tried to see these doors which opened to utter darkness and the things inside these rooms, but he was barely able to see where he was stepping on the corridor. In order to see what was inside them, he would have to enter these rooms. Because of the insufficient light, the only thing he could see was that they were not empty. Should he check the rooms he wondered. Nah, follow the woman this time. Miral was happy to back down from entering these rooms, which gave him chills when he got close to them. Somehow something about these rooms had deeply disturbed him. Miral took a deep breath to relax and think sanely. The situation he was in was already uncanny enough. He shouldn't relinquish his control. With the barely enough light of the gas lamp he was carrying, he hastily turned back and narrowly caught up to the woman, who was continuing her narration in the corridor. What? We missed that. The tower made of cars was in the position it is right now, but this building was not on top of it. One day, when the folks living in this area woke up, they found this tower made of cars in the middle of the field. Even though it was very windy, the cars were not affected by the wind at all. Still, they did not touch it. They did while doing so, though this happened a couple of centuries ago. From this point on, Miral was assuming that the woman had a problem with numbers in general. This wasn't the only bizarre thing about this place, though. Despite the fact that he wasn't willing to interrupt her narration and was wondering where they were going, Miral laughed nervously and couldn't let it pass without asking, You're talking like you've been seeing it with your own eyes. In the pitch-black corridor, it seemed like the only visible things were the woman's eyes when she turned and replied, Because I saw it. Here. Miral was grateful that the expression on his face was not visible in the darkness, because even though the things he heard were ridiculous, even though they were probably the result of an old woman's distorted mind, he shivered. Wait, how bad these gas lamps are! Okay, I was not going to comment anything about, I can barely see and put a gas lamp up so he can see better and then cannot see the stuff inside the room. Have you ever actually been in a dark room with a gas lamp? They're actually very good. They're not that bad. You can light the whole room with a gas lamp. Well, at least, how I remember. Well, it's not a big room anyways. But, yeah, you can see each other's faces. We had a gas lamp in the middle of the table and we had dinner around the table and I can see everyone. I can even do my homework with that light. It's not that bad. Why both of them are holding a gas lamp? There should be a lot of light in this corridor. He should be able to see each other's faces with a gas lamp. She should be able to see his face with a gas lamp. He's carrying it. Of course it gives him light. While the woman was continuing to tell the story, Miral suddenly felt an urge to leave this place right away. But besides that, he also had a feeling of childish curiosity to hear the rest of the story. Yeah, we're following. Then he was hypnotized. Miral continued to listen to the voice in the dark and follow the barely visible silhouette with a burden on his heart and mind. I say they did well by not touching the cards, because they should not be touched. They must have felt an oddness, or maybe a holiness there. So they put the tower made of cards into that bell jar it resides in right now, without touching it. But this was a mistake. They should have left it as it was. Do not ask what the cause of their action was. Much later, someone I know whose name I have forgotten put the wooden table which is under the bell jar right now. This had cost dearly too. Wait, so the cats were floating around or what? Why they need a table under it? Even though Miral was going to try to look back and see that wooden table as a reflex, he decided not to. Helplessly, he kept walking and following her voice. Of course, The ones who found it did not know that they were making a mistake. They should not touch the tower or change its conditions. I did not know either. How could we know? Things that happen as a result of our interference appear in faraway lands, and the knowledge of the cards was not given to us yet. What did I miss? I was in the shower. Any jump scares? No, this game don't have jump scares. It's just weird stories, mystical stuff. Very weird stuff that makes no sense. Without a shiver at the moment, both because the things the woman said and that dreadful awareness he had now. This was not a physical uneasiness, but a mental one, because they were walking on a straight corridor for almost 7 to 8 minutes, inside a building which extended 20 to 30 meters at most. This was impossible, but it had happened anyway. Look behind? We're gonna look behind. When he looked back, he immediately felt sick. Because of the way he was coming from, now darkness of an endless void was stretching. I think we are lost in the void now. There was no ground or ceiling. Even though he couldn't see anything apart from the darkness on the way, somehow Miral was feeling like the darkness he was looking at was a void that had no material in it. Even though he had turned back to his way to see what was behind or leave this shop, he immediately gave up his decision to do so. The next second, he found himself turning to safety where the woman was. In other words, turning to the side where at least there was solid ground and where he could see the woman, even if it was just a silhouette. Well, was that sight real or just a figment of his imagination? Miral had never been in a position where he doubted his own senses before, so he couldn't tell. Water in the fire! Why? Water in the fire! Why? I not to understand, no! Ha 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 ha. Not to understand! Water in the fire! Fire in the water! Water, very hot! Water. Fire? It's fire in the water! It's fire in the water! Maybe he had a delusion. Or he had low blood pressure. What? Yes, that must be it. What else could it be anyway? No, it's water in the fire. I have video proof. Yeah, but it should be fire in the water. When he realized that they had arrived at the room, Miral decided to ignore these oddities for the last time. But still, he wasn't nearing the daily limit of his tolerance for irrationalities. The woman raised the gas lamp in her hand and revealed the room, which was nearly full of books from the ground to the ceiling. Listen to the woman. Even though it was far away, Miral was still able to hear the sound of the rain and thunder outside. If it was another time, these sounds might have been relaxing for him, but now the effect was the opposite. So I guess a love for grammar is a bit of backwards for us. I don't think Japanese grammar works the same. Japanese don't have like a lot of in at kind of things. The interjections, or how you call it, so instead of saying the apple is red, they just say apple red. Something like that. That's the only things I know. Ah! Well, I know who you're talking about. It's Korone. Ah! Mirel was continuing to listen to the woman. He noticed that he couldn't see her face anymore, even with the dim light of the gas lamp. Her voice had also shifted into lifeless and distant tone. Wait, why is she dark again? According to what we have been informed, this tower made of playing cards was at the Earth's center of gravity. We have also been informed why a tower was built at the Earth's center of gravity. With those cards, why those cards were used, why a tower was built. I remember that I understood all of it, but cannot remember the things that were told. What I mean is that this could be either a complex
course or a new natural act of nature. Or despite all of these absurd and impossible details, it could be a very, very realistic but very, very long nightmare. There, all the books you see here contain the things we have been informed about the playing cards. Do you want to review them? Wow! I don't want to read all of this. Hi Nadesh, how you doing? Good morning. Why you change my voice to Shikmon? I'm trying to read here. I'm trying to give feeling to the character. And you can use me Shikmon voice. How dare you? Nah, I don't want to read. Decline. The only thing Mirel wanted to do at the moment was to leave this place. He neither wanted to check these weird books nor spend even one more second in the same place with this odd woman. He tried not to affect his feelings when he go. Good morning. Cat.
Human is cat, cat is human, cat is Arjun, Arjun is human, human is turtle, turtle is human, ha ha ha. Who called the turtle? What turtle has to do with anything? I can't say I understood anything from what you've been telling me. Thank you for your offer, but I have no time left. I must go. The woman didn't say anything in reply to this, and this caused a short period of uncomfortable silence. It's like, you made me walk all the way to here, and now you say, I'm gonna go. I'm like, yes, we have to go. I have to end the stream soon. Mirel was not eager to ask any more questions, even though he could understand most of the things he saw and heard. He had a lot of questions, yes, but he wasn't going to ask them. The uneasiness inside him about this woman and his job was now at a level he couldn't withstand anymore. No, I'm more curious. I just have to go. Besides, he had deviated from his actual purpose. He did not want to stay in this job any further. That's why he finally decided to leave this place. He was going to find another antique shop, antique store, an ordinary, normal antique store, an antique store where he could also talk about the score of the soccer match of the previous evening, where they insistently offered him tea, where there were other antique stores nearby. To dissipate the uncomfortable silence, Mirel swiftly said some last words. Thank you for the things you told me. Goodbye. Yes. The woman was standing there, waving her hand as a farewell without saying anything in return. Mirel wasn't able to understand whether she was going to say anything or not. Yeah, how I'm gonna go out if it's just the boys? Without losing any more time, Mirel turned his back and moved swiftly towards the exit of the room. Well, no problem to go back. But he shivered again when he stripped through the dark corridor lasted 10 seconds. And he found himself in the room when he first talked with the woman at the entrance. Without looking at anything, he passed through the middle of the room in hassle. Leaving this door was a decision he needed to make a long time ago. Mirel couldn't understand what was delaying his decision. He didn't think about it anymore while he was moving towards the door. He opened the shop's heavy door with a struggle. When he got out again, he eagerly inhaled the cold and rainy air deep into his lungs. That felt really good. It was like he'd been breathing for a long time, and he started to breathe again. He didn't puzzle his brains for the reason for the hassle in his steps while he was leaving the alley that housed the antique store and moving away from the main street. His mind, which was unreasonably tired, wasn't willing to remember the antique store named Tower Antiques, its contents, or its owner. Then he realized he couldn't remember those things even if he wanted to. But he did not care. He forgot and left. Oh! One more ending. So, have you... I don't know. Well, it happens to me. Like, if you try to remember a dream, but if you didn't try to remember it right after you wake up, you cannot remember it anymore. Forgot to ask yesterday, do you have a Discord server? Didn't think about how we're going to communicate. We play games together. Yes I do. Actually, I haven't updated the invitation in a long time. Try it. If it doesn't work, I will get another one. Oh wait, you already did it. Did it work? Did not work. Do I see anything? No. No, I don't. What? Here. Here, a man you invite. Is it? Oh, the same one. What? Yeah, the same one, so it should still work. Never mind. Okay. And I have 3 minutes to say goodbye. This was fun. Look at all the endings we can have though. Look at all the endings. Look at all this. I kinda wanted to keep going until we have, it's only been 4 hours, yes. I kinda wanted to keep going until it was stuck up on time, but, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. So, I'm gonna just end the stream. I just put on my headphones. What? Why didn't you see that message before? Hi again, I'm sorry I'm late. What? Why didn't you see those messages before? I've been looking at the chat. I've been paying attention to the chat. I didn't see those messages before. Wait. Wow. I don't understand. I've been trying to pay attention to the chat. I didn't see it. It worked. Nice. Make food. Yeah. Need food. Anyways, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for the company. I hope that you had fun. I will end the stream. I wanted to raid. I will leave. But I'm just gonna take it easy. Get something to eat. Oh. Good timing. Where am I? I'm weak. I feel the whole screen. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. See, I'm getting gassy. Gassy is the word. Gassy. How to eat. Keep burping and burping. Monday we're gonna play a Pew Pew game. I don't play Pew Pew games, but I'm gonna get carried, so it should be fine. And it's wait, hold on. Let me change category. Also, let me end the other streams. Let me just say goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you guys for the company. Take care. Good morning. Have a good rest of your day. Sorry for ignoring the chats. I didn't mean to. I was paying attention. I was paying attention, and I keep saying join. But I never saw someone say something, so I didn't say anything. And then after I maximize the window, I see someone actually speak. I didn't mean to ignore it, and I need to fix that. Maybe I should do separate streams. But yeah, thank you for the company. Take care. Good morning. Have a rest of your day. Like, how do I turn this off? Yeah, there you go.